Hello everybody, Jordan here, the PH is silent. So, I've been trying to make this video for a while, and I just keep running into problems, so we're going to just shoot from the hip. I am very interested in Dungeons & Dragons, and specifically, I'm interested in the Forgotten Realms. Wizards of the Coast has said that they're going to go forward with the Forgotten Realms. That is their campaign setting of choice. So, since the 90s, the Forgotten Realms and Dungeons & Dragons have kind of gone hand in hand. People are writing novels for them. We're making D&D video games set in the Forgotten Realms. And so I started thinking, like, what is the mythology of the Forgotten Realms? Where did the realms come from? Is there a history? Is there just like a general mythology? I mean, we have these gods, we have all this other stuff. You buy any D&D book and it's come packed with all kinds of information. Yet, is there a chronological order? Is there a way to put it all into perspective? Well, surprise, there is, but it is a rabbit hole of information diving around Wikipedia sites trying to figure it all out. So for this video, I thought I'd put together a history of the Forgotten Realms, and specifically for this video, we're going to start at the beginning, which is the creation story. Now, Ed Greenwood has created the Forgotten Realms, and it's become the #1 campaign setting for Dungeons & Dragons. And you don't have to necessarily play your Dungeons & Dragons game in the Forgotten Realms, but that's what all Dungeons & Dragons merchandise is going to be about. All of the campaigns that they put out is going to be set in the Forgotten Realms. So let's start at the very beginning. Where did the realms come from? Through the Forgotten Realms wiki and lots of other various sources, a lot of 3.5 material books that I found and flipped through. The very beginning of the Forgotten Realms is the one giant god above all gods, and his name is Lord Ao, and he created the universe. Now, the universe at this time was a timeless thing of nothingness. It was like an empty, gray, and misty void. And eventually and that's after he created it. Eventually, this shadowy essence coalesced to form these twin deities, and they were polar opposites of each other, one dark and one light, and the dark one is named Shar, and the light one is named Saloon. Saloon and Shar, the goddess of light and the goddess of darkness. Now, Saloon and Shar, although one is considered good and one is considered evil, they were the only gods in town at the moment. So they were working together, and they worked together to create the heavens. So they created the astral sea, and then they also created all of the various planets that orbit the non-existent sun. And upon creating the planet of Abeir-Toril, they also inadvertently created the goddess Shan Tia. Now, Shan Tia is kind of like Gaia, the nature, the Mother Earth, the spirit of Abeir-Toril. Shan Tia wanted to seed Abeir-Toril with life. Like, she wanted all of this life, but at this point, Abeir-Toril was only lit by the radiance of the deity of Saloon, and then it was darkened at night by the deity Shar. So there wasn't any heat. It was like starlight during the day, the proverbial day, and then like pitch blackness at night. Shan Tia begged for warmth that she might nurture life and living creatures upon Abeir-Toril. And this caused the two deities to start fighting with each other. Their divine conflict created the deities of war, disease, murder, and death. So them just fighting it out over creating heat for Shan Tia, and their differing opinions about where this new world that they've created is going spawned all of this like nastiness that has been in part of the Forgotten Realms ever since then. Now, defying her sister, Saloon reached into the plane of fire and set the largest of the planets to burn and created the sun. Now, this is where I'm confused, because Lord Ao created the universe, but it must be the prime material plane where Saloon and Shar were creating all of this stuff. Like, that's where they existed, yet these other realms already were in existence, or when Lord Ao created the universe, those were also created. And so maybe you, the YouTube video watcher, can leave me a comment and say, hey, nerd, you got it wrong. It's actually like this. So Saloon reached into the plane of fire and set the largest planets burning, which created the sun. Now Shar attacked and she tried to smother the flames, but Saloon tore the divine essence of magic from her body and hurled it at her sister. Now, the divine essence of magic that Saloon ripped out also tore through Shar's body, and with it came the same magical energy. Now, this energy formed Mistral, the deity of magic, and Mistral was composed of both light and dark, but she favored Saloon, and so she allied herself with Saloon. And all of a sudden, Shar was outmatched, and she fled into the void, vowing revenge against them both. Now, Mistral was a being of pure magic, and her birth also created the Weave. In the Forgotten Realms, magic and the Weave are kind of synonymous, and it's how any creature that is not a deity creates magic. They tap into the Weave, they manipulate it in a way that they're able to do some kind of cool magical effect. Now, with the warmth of the sun, life soon sprung up on Abeir-Toril in abundance, but it was contested by the Primordials. The Primordials are another thing where I was confused about. They've always existed, or they existed in these various planes, like the plane of fire or the plane of earth or the plane of air. And now that we have this prime material plane, they're coming to it they want to own it. They want to like manage it, and basically it's primordial versus God at this point. And the Primordials came in and they rearranged parts of the world. They found some things that were too bright and some things that were too dark. And they took these bright things and they made the Feywild. And they took these dark things and they made the Plane of Shadow, which later became the Shadowfell. Now, because they were divvying up the world, the gods were really upset by this. And this is when a huge war broke out between the gods and the Primordials. And both sides wanted dominion over the prime material plane. In this conflict, new gods to the Forgotten Realms were either summoned from other dimensions, or they were just created from the conflict. And it's at this point that the Dawn War begins. And the Dawn War is a large war between the Primordials and the gods, with the fate of the prime material plane and Abeir-Toril in jeopardy. And that's where we're going to end right now. So we have a picture of the world being born. We have the universe being created. We have gods and stuff from various other places. Stay tuned for more videos to come where we're going to dive into the Forgotten Realms and try to figure this out together. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a fantastic day.